What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome to Cars with Abe. I'm Abraham. Today we have a absolute special treat in store for you, a car review. Before we begin with the review, a huge thank you to Star Motorcars for allowing me to review this beautiful vehicle. This specific vehicle is for sale, so I'll put a link in the description below so you can find it in case you're interested in purchasing this exact one. All right, so behind me is a 2015 Porsche 911 Targa 4S. As this Porsche sits here behind me, it has the 3.8 liter 6-cylinder boxer engine. Now, for those of you that don't know what the boxer engine is, it's just basically flat and it's in the rear of the vehicle. Now, with that 3.8 liter 6-cylinder, it produces 400 brake horsepower and 325 pound-feet of torque. That's quite a bit. It does the 0 to 60 in 4.4 seconds, but Porsche claims it's 4.4 seconds. It turns out that their claim is very conservative. Go ahead and look on YouTube, and there's many different YouTube videos that claims that it can do 4.2 seconds 0 to 60 time with the 7-speed twin clutch transmission in it, which this does have. Now, you guys might think, okay, what's the real big difference between the 0.2 seconds that it does? For an example, the Ferrari F40 does a 0 to 60 time in 3.1 seconds. Yes, it's absolutely insane to think that this Targa Porsche does it in 3.2 seconds. That's almost as fast as a Ferrari F40. Okay, so enough talk about what it compares to. Let's give you a little bit of a history on the Targa tops. 1965 was the first time that Porsche ever made a Targa top. You might ask why they made the Targa top. Well, there was rumors at that time that there was fixing to be more regulations banning convertible vehicles, claiming that they weren't safe enough. So Porsche's response to that was, let's build a Targa top, where it essentially has a roll bar over the top while providing you an experience of the open top. The funny thing is, though, those regulations I mentioned, they never came. So Porsche, in their infinite wisdom, decided to, hey, let's keep the Targa top and let's create this style in which now you have the Targa top these days. This specific model is the sapphire blue with the 7-speed twin clutch transmission in it, also known as the PDK. Now, since Porsche has not really changed their designs in decades, they more so refined the designs. I won't go into the little details about the body and the exterior and interior review. However, there's a lot of things that I do still want to point out. Starting with the headlights. So the headlights actually have not really changed over the years as far as the design. Again, just more refined, more smoother curves, which in my opinion is absolutely beautiful. But one thing that they've added on this Porsche is dynamic control headlights. Now, what does that mean? Dynamic control headlights allows the headlight to turn left or right to a certain degree as you're turning the steering wheel. So when you're going down the hill country, ripping through the canyons, going through those curves at the speed limit, those headlights allow you to see so incredibly far around that corner, which is incredibly safe. Now, since you do have the engine in the rear of this vehicle, the trunk, so to speak, is in the front of the vehicle, which of course doesn't give you a lot of room in there, but you don't buy a 911 for their trunk space. However, I will say for one of the rear engine mounted vehicles, Porsche really does a good job at making a real decent amount of space inside their trunk. So you can fit a decent amount of groceries in the trunk and not even worry about it. Guys, it can be a daily. This specific model has the 20-inch wheels, and the tires in the front are 245/35 20s. while the rear of the tires are a little bit wider at 305/30s. Moving to the rear of the vehicle, you have the very sleek design with the engine vents, because you have to remember that the engine is rear mounted in this vehicle, but you also have beautiful LED tail lights, and I will say it's really amazing that it goes all the way across the vehicle and not just the tail lights on the side. You have the quad tips on the bottom, which I think adds a very aggressive tone to the rear of the vehicle. So it's not just real luxury, it's actually performance, and you know it. Porsche makes you aware of that. All right, before we get into the interior a little bit, let's talk about the Targa top, because I've been dying to tell you guys this information. Let's go ahead and activate the Targa top. The process is actually really amazing for the Targa top once it opens. As you can see, it opens the whole entire glass rear hatch, puts the little Targa convertible material into the trunk, and then reverts back to normal with the open roof. You'll find the Targa top buttons right here. One to open the Targa top, one to close the Targa top, and of course you have the matching pictures for the selection you would like to choose. Fun fact about this operation though, Porsche does not allow you to open or close the Targa top with the vehicle in motion. You might think that that sucks, and it kind of does, but here's why. You'll notice the back hatch is about a foot past the rear bumper, maybe even a little bit more. Now, you don't want to do that while going down the road, because that could be, well, not safe at all. Another thing to note is if you have this vehicle parked, which you have to in order to have that rear hatch out, make sure that you're not up against a tree or a wall of some sort, because it needs a lot of space to work. Also, fun fact about the Porsche, when you do have it in the process, all the gizmos and the brackets inside to open the top are paint matched to the specific car. I like that about Porsche. They said, if you can see all of the gizmos inside, let's make it at least look good. I can appreciate the attention to detail. Of course, once you have the process completed of the Targa being opened, it gives it a whole nother look. Now, some may argue that it is an acquired taste, and it is. Personally, I love it. It's the perfect match between the convertible. If you're not the really convertible type person, this is a perfect option for you to still get the outside air, the wind blowing kind of sort of in your hair, but not completely exposed. Sliding into the interior, it's very sporty. You have seats that hug you tremendously, but not too tight to where it's uncomfortable, just enough to where it adds that support that you need when you're taking those turns. You still get the electric seat options. You have the front release switch right here and the rear release switch right here, close to the driver's side, which makes it very driver friendly, as well as an electric parking brake. Porsche hasn't really changed all that much, just more so refined. You have your standard Porsche gauge cluster, which actually I think is kind of cool because it gives you a little bit of a Targa image on the gauge kind of to the right. Looking at the steering wheel, you do have a pretty basic steering wheel with, of course, the paddle shifters in the back that are still along the lines with that brushed aluminum, which I think is really nice. Now, one thing that I might add and note for you guys is a lot of these manufacturers, they put cheap feeling paddle shifters. I can't say the same for Porsche. They actually do a really good job on the paddle shifters where they feel like they're not just about to break every time you want to downshift or upshift. You actually don't mind being aggressive with it, which is nice. For the most part, this specific model does have all the bells and whistles on it, including the Sport Chrono package, which is kind of cool because you get kind of like this chrome alloy looking finished accents. What's cool about the Sport Chrono package though is you get the Sport Plus button right here, which is the really fun button that once you select it, it actually tightens your suspension and you, well, let's just say buckle up because it's a bunch of fun. Around the sport buttons, you do have the other options. Again, as mentioned before, the Targa top options as well as the rear spoiler option to open and close, along with the EPA regulations of the automatic on and off start once you come to a complete stop. I do appreciate that every manufacturer so far has the option to turn it on or off. So in the center console, it's pretty basic for the infotainment center. You do have on this specific model the cooled seats and the heated seats as well, which I think is a very nice option to have, especially in a sports car. You have the shift knob with that, of course, 7-speed twin clutch transmission for those lightning fast shifts, and you have the PDK mark, just so you know it's a PDK. Going to the passenger side, you do have the cup holders hidden by this very beautiful chrome-ish finish where you push to open and then you push for the cup holders to come out. Now, of course, they're not the best cup holders. They're not gonna fit a Texas size Whataburger cup or anything like that, but you never buy a Porsche for their cup holders. Looking at the back seat real quick, you actually have a back seat. Yes, you do, which is shocking because it's actually really small, and I wouldn't recommend anyone sitting back there that's, well, really taller than 5 feet maybe. However, you do have the option for the car seat, which I think that's really cool, and that's probably the only thing that could fit back there in my opinion. However, I do like that they try to make a little bit of a center console for the rear passengers in the back seat where you can put your phone maybe or spare change. I do appreciate how Porsche keep the same almost brushed aluminum type look, and I think it looks sleek, it looks awesome, and I love how the glass in the back is all one piece. Yes, that's right, it's one piece, which looks so much more sleek in my opinion. Now, what's a review without at least not getting to hear the vehicle? And I think you guys might be surprised by the startup of this vehicle. This is a warm startup of this Porsche Targa. Now, doesn't that just sound absolutely amazing? I feel like it has a very throaty and almost V8-ish sound that's very tamed, I might add, from the manufacturer. Imagine putting an exhaust system on this thing to really make it alive, if that's something that's in your interest. When you're cruising down the freeway or going through the canyons, you have the roof down and you listen to the exhaust note. You won't be disappointed. All right, y'all, that pretty much wraps up today's review. If you like this review, definitely let me know in the comments below so I can maybe continue doing this. But again, thank you for watching today's video. Smash that subscribe button if you would like some more car reviews. Also consider subscribing because I have loads and loads of car content here in my channel. We'll catch you guys at the next video.